The more information you have, the better the decisions. Data is crucial to do important decisions in Dota games and even before the Dota game in preparation. I think it's really cool that a big company like SAP is investing into esports, and that I can be a part of it is amazing.
Day 3 of our major, and we have already moved into bracket play, and you're joining us in a dead tie. It is 1-1 Fnatic versus EHOME. My name is Rich, and I'm going to be your host throughout the entirety of the event. And joining me on the panel, we have none other than Gods and Black. And let's start to talk about everything here. You know, we look at that game, and before the 10-minute mark, we see a 4K lead for Fnatic. Then by the 18-minute mark, it's way more, or 18-minute mark, it's done. But we see like a 10K lead before that. What exactly happened?
The lanes fell apart for EHOME in ways they maybe, I don't know.
Unexpected.
Yeah, maybe slightly unexpectedly. Like Timber's meant to beat the Tide, but not as badly as perhaps he did. Tide play, similar to what happened last game with ISS. You know, you play the lane. Sometimes you need to avoid here in your lane, play behind the tower, or just run away from them. Force them to chase you to, you know, if Timber doesn't have a creep wave, he's not pushing that T1 tower at like 6-7 minutes in the game. Bottom lane, Visage died to a Pengolier as well. Yeah. In lane.
You never died to Pango before level 6.
Yeah.
Unless you dive him.
Yeah, we didn't see it on camera, but I imagine it looked like he was going for a kill, and then, yeah, Earth Spirit rolled in.
And then, of course, Anti-Mage died first blood level 2 because of the Lich who roamed.
Yeah, so even lanes aside, like moving slightly away from that for a second, and I'm sure we'll get back to it, but I do want to ask about the AM, because when we saw that actually get drafted, all of a sudden everybody on the desk is like, wait, this is the best pick ever. We get to the casters. This seems like a really good pick. It's surprising that it gets all the way through. And Black, you ultimately said, right before we went live, you said you ended up not liking how the draft went for EHOME. Yeah. So what went on?
No, I think they had like all the recipes they needed for success, but in the laning phase, they just lost all 3 lanes, just like Fnatic did in game 1, pretty much. And then you just can't recover. Like AM needs, like he gets a solo lane against Dusa because he can do quite well on there, but then he will itemize into Battlefield, and he needs like 15-20 minutes to actually come online and start like fighting with the team. But until then, he's not really a factor. And of course the side lanes, both of them losing so hard, I don't understand how it happened. Like we didn't see the bot lane too much. Yeah,
they did have like Lion Undying. I mean, Undying very good support, but he started bottom thinking, you know, Timber's going to be down there, but Timber did end up finding the 1v1 against Tide, which is something EHOME could have kept playing lane swaps to try and avoid that matchup, but they chose not to.
But Undying, Visage, you can't, like there's no scenario I see that lose to Earth Spirit plus Pangolier.
Fnatic weren't even trying to win the lane. They were just, Earth Spirit was just trying to do pulls while Pango got experience. Yeah. But ultimately, they overextended a bit.
That's the lane they need to win, because Visage is the one that will make space for the anti-mage. Visage is the one that can actually push the towers as well.
Yeah. I think we also maybe didn't expect the AM to have such a tough lane. Because the second we saw AM versus Medusa, maybe we've seen this 1v1 where AM crushes Medusa, but it wasn't a 1v1, and that's, you know, obviously something Fnatic fully understood, that even if they counterpick this AM into Medusa, we can pressure him in lane, because our 3 cores, Pango, Timber, Medusa, none of them need supports in lane. So you can send Lich wherever AM goes. You can send Earth Spirit wherever the hell he wants to find kills.
Definitely like 3 self-sustainable solo lanes, but I still don't think the lanes should go this badly for EHOME. They should definitely win 1 lane, and 1 lane should go even, and then mid lane is like whatever, you roam, you do what you can. But they lost 3 lanes. Losing 3 lanes in this current meta is just almost like you can't recover from it.
Let's unpack this a little bit further. Yeah, we're going to see just that in the highlights, and we're also just going to see more and more of a deficit accumulate. But I do want to ask you right now, you say the laning phase, Black, it's in both of these games kind of what determined it for both EHOME and Fnatic. Do you think that's going to be the case in the 3rd game as well? Do you think we really need to be putting an extra bit of attention on that laning phase?
I feel like this series actually, more so than others, lanes that shouldn't be doing like so good or so bad, like it's really extreme. Like for example, SF versus Tinker in the first game, it should be much more of an even lane, but the SF completely dominated. And now this lane, Tide against Timber, we've seen it many times in this tournament. It was like a 5-5 lane, while this game it was like a 7-3, maybe even 8-2. And I feel like these laning phases, I don't know why they're so one-sided in this series in particular. It's like,
do you have any idea, Gods, why you think maybe it turns into such a one-sided phase?
I mean, this game with the Timber Tide, I think it's harder for Tide to play around and behind the tower when you're in the safe lane as opposed to the off lane, but some unfamiliarity perhaps could be part of it, but I also don't think that's the entire story. Because like
unfamiliarity with the matchup?
Matchups, yeah. But at the same time, you know, Ice, he's probably played that Darkseer Underlord matchup many a times before. He knows how to play Darkseer, which is where it was surprising not to see him playing behind the tower. He obviously had some different idea and approach that just ultimately didn't work.
Yeah, you see, 4 of the 5 most hero damage heroes were from Fnatic.
I mean, MP carried the hell out of this game. He was the absolutely monster of this game. There was nothing that could stop him. He was playing on his own up in that top lane for parts of it. DJ roams in and he gets him 2-3 kills. Wherever MP went, there was destruction.
Yeah, this one was pretty clear early on which way it was going to go, and you know, to see such a performance after we see them struggle a little bit in the laning phase in Game 1. Game 3 now, how hard is it to really call? I mean, what do we expect to see? I will give you guys credit. Even after we saw the first game, you said this is still probably, there's a very high chance that this does make it all the way to Game 3, but are you stumped at this point after seeing both Game 1 and Game 2?
I mean, I didn't expect this game to go this way for sure. Like, Fnatic completely outplayed them. I wouldn't say outdrafted them. I thought actually EHOME had the better draft for me overall. So going to Game 3, EHOME will... I think the draft was fine, as I said. They just need to polish their play a bit more. They can't lose these lanes as badly as they have. And, I mean, obviously, I can't really say that either because in Game 1 they overplayed and they shouldn't have won the lanes that they have won. So, I don't know. It just seemed like a bit unstable in regards of performance.
Are you putting all of the onus on Fnatic there? You're saying that they overplayed lanes, then they underplayed lanes? You're not even taking into account EHOME? Or?
No, it's like both. Like
okay.
For first game, Fnatic underplayed and EHOME overplayed. Second game, it's the opposite side.
Okay.
Yeah, like
okay.
EHOME underplayed and Fnatic overplayed. Like,
do you think there's any chance that we just show up in this next one, then we get to Game 3 and we see them both playing the lanes the way that they should? That's the real question here.
Maybe they've done enough fine-tuning. They'll finally hit the sweet spot.
Like, right. Okay.
It's
like, oh, we overcorrected. Back.
Do you feel the same way, though? Do you feel like it was a case of a team underperforming in the laning phase and also overperforming in the laning phase?
I don't think it's that simple. I think it was a bit more matchup focused than that. Like the AM counter wasn't really as hard of a counter as we believe because of the fact he's up against a dual lane, so he's not going to have a free game. It wasn't a free AM game. Some of these AMs versus Medusas have been a free game because it's a 1v1. Timber versus Tide, it's a free. At that point, Timber still has a free game, and because AM is not having a free game, he can't counter him. So I think actually, to me, Fnatic did have the better draft once we saw how it played out with the lanes.
Okay, now we're going to look at this draft. We'll see who does get the better end of this stick. And we can see already some early picks coming in from EHOME here. They'll be popping up on your screen in just a short second. And my main question is going to be matchup-oriented this time. Because do you feel like Game 1 was also very matchup-oriented, or do you feel like that was more of a Game 2 thing?
Probably more Game 2 thing. I think Game 1 was a much more balanced draft that could have gone kind of either way. We'll see what these teams have, because at this point you're in a Game 3. We've seen similar picks in Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 it's the same thing where certain heroes are going to be prioritized with small little tweaks. In this case, it's kind of the Earth Spirit, I feel like, where EHOME snag it away before Fnatic can get it. Fnatic would have likely picked Lich with Earth Spirit first too, but without the Earth Spirit, DJ is going to have to handle something else in the 4 position role.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised how they prioritize this hero. Because in the first series it wasn't picked up at all until it got banned out. In the second game, EHOME could have picked it, but they didn't. Now they finally snag it away. Yeah. Usually teams that really like it, they first pick it. Fnatic doesn't, obviously. They like the Lich much better. Yeah, which I can understand.
Yeah, I can understand Lich, especially when you're expecting this first 2-pick Visage, because it gives you that Frost Armor against it.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit stubborn on EHOME's side to keep just going back to Visage, and Visage, and Visage, and Visage?
I don't mind it because their drafts have been so all over the place leading up to this. So I think the fact they're kind of focusing in on certain strats that work for them is maybe a good sign.
Has it been all over the place in this tournament as much as you kind of said that it was in the minor? Like we look, and I feel like we've seen Visage probably 7 times in this tournament so far, I'm pretty sure is what the number was, and I feel like EHOME has already done that so many times. I feel like majority of that's probably them.
Yeah, I think they're definitely trying to like buckle down a bit with their draft, because we have seen this. What was it? Was it Drow plus Prophet plus Husker? Yeah, that was terrible.
Draft, yeah.
I think ever since then they kind of learned with the draft, because even against TNC they had quite stable, solid drafts, and they just want to, like, find their own identity in this tournament. Because if you want to go far, you need to be able to play stable Dota. You can't just always cheese your way through or surprise your way through.
And you definitely want to figure out, you want to solve the identity crisis by the end of this one for sure, because you're going up against a very tough opponent in your next matchup. Yes, you're still in the upper portion of the bracket. You can lose that matchup and still manage to go far if you're going to go on a deep lower bracket run, but we already know that they have an absolute titan waiting for them.
Yep.
But EHOME's adjustments are all solid here. You take away the Earth Spirit, you ban both Timber and Pengo, two very annoying heroes for Visage to play against. So not just, it kind of feels like a knee-jerk reaction where it's like, oh, these heroes beat us, let's just ban them, but they're actually great counters to Visage as a whole, so makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, also these two heroes seem really good with Dusa, because you can just leave all three heroes by themselves pretty much. It gives complete freedom to the supports. Obviously this game it won't be the case.
Curious to see what DJ's support is, because to me the top fours is Tuscan Earth Spirit, and then ET is like a maybe third hero to consider in that 4 position, and all of those are banned or picked. Yeah,
Earth Spirit is picked. And we could see the Grimstroke again, the Lich Grimstroke.
Not a fan of
not the biggest fan.
4 position Grimstroke.
Yeah, I like it 5 much better.
Yeah, I think that's maybe where there's been some sentiment around Grimstroke not being a great hero, is because it's been put in that 4 position role when really he doesn't use that he doesn't roam very well. He doesn't really benefit much from items. You're much better off getting some of these tankier strength 4 positions who can do more with the farm and move around the map, ganking better.
I mean, you could argue that if you get like a fast hex, it can make a big difference, but even getting to that is so difficult. It's a very expensive item, tier 4 item.
And might be a Rubik game.
It might be
seeing Rubik for DJ.
But like 2 squishy range supports might be even a keeper.
You need to get a tanky offlaner for ISS if you're going Rubik, and there is that tanky offlaner.
Yeah, still no. OD's banned out already.
Yep.
Timbersaw is banned out already. There is a potential for Slark right now. It's a very good hero
on EHOME
against all these heroes.
It is, but at the same time, it also isn't when you're versing that 5-man lineup. I feel it's so risky, and it also doesn't. Do you want Slark with Visage? That to me does not sound all too great.
Well, if that doesn't sound great, how does the Darkseer sound to you, gods?
A lot better. You know, you've got that 1v1 matchup. Darkseer versus Tide. This time they've swapped who's playing what.
Faith Beyond has already shown how
he knows how to play this match.
Yeah, he got so huge that game when we saw it in the 1v1.
Ice knows how to play this matchup, but for whatever reason that game he just didn't play it how he normally would.
He was like Faith Beyond, you and me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch you in the lane in the face. Bots.
Maybe he thought he had some way to get a kill and wanted to do some flashy stuff, which just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Weaver. Position 4, probably. I would assume. It could be position 1.
4, you don't think MP? I feel like MP's likely to play this.
True. Yeah, actually Fnatic is one of the teams that like carry Weaver a lot. Yeah. Fits MP very well as well.
So this game, it's very annoying for Visage to play against. Their only real control and lockdown for it is the Earth Spirit right now.
And it kind of, like, these two heroes serve a similar purpose as the Timber and Pango did. They can stay alone in the lane if they want to, and they can pick a hard roamer for DJ. Although it's going to be hard to find that hard roamer now.
You just put Lich Armor on Weaver and you can kind of Shikuchi in and has a lot of kill potential.
And you put the bugs on, it's just very annoying to play, for sure. But yeah, the DJ hero is the big question mark right now.
Yeah. Probably something you want to have that can fit in the tri-lane and then also roam.
What could that be? Must be something unconventional.
It's going to be something super standard now that you've said that. Just you wait.
Nick's always right.
I'm always right.
Is there any chance still, I know you mentioned it, is there any chance for Rubik still now on the side of Fnatic? I know it's their most played hero.
Possible.
For sure. I like Rubik versus Visage with the damage mitigation from Fade Bolt.
What about Sven?
Nah, it's bad. I don't like Sven 4 position. He just doesn't, I mean, it's not bad, it's just not something I want to see. I think you've got 2 5 positions at that point, and I don't think Sven's roam is that threatening.
I'm not a big fan of having 2 squishy range supports, but at this point it might be the best if you can get.
What's some catch, some stun, some like shaman maybe it could be good. 4 position shadow shaman.
It's very hard to play against Visage though.
Yeah, oh yeah, those shaman lion tip heroes feel miserable, but it does feel like it's the right kind of hero for them, even though it is squishy.
Earthshaker.
That's
That
right.
is the
Yeah,
Rubik.
there we go. That's the first idea we had. It makes the most sense, I feel.
Yeah. So, are they going to try to do the anti-mage again? It's even better than in the first game, I would argue.
What makes it
they're
better
gonna
than
dual
the
lane
first
him.
game?
They'll dual lane him if they pick
I mean,
AM.
they have like literally only one disable for anti-mage, which is a Rubik lift.
Doesn't matter if you have disable if what happens last game happens again.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. Drow Ranger.
Drow Mage versus Dusa.
How do you like Drow Ranger instead of AM?
Weaver.
It's just a completely different playstyle, of course. They just want to put on the pressure this game, which I like. Visage Drow is still strong.
Nowhere near as strong.
Nowhere near as strongly, of
Your
course.
familiars don't benefit from the attack speed the way they do the damage.
Yeah.
It's a good adjustment because that AM pick did not work. And yeah, you see lack of disable, but what happens when that Lich goes mid again and just makes your AM's early game miserable? So this to me is a good adjustment, but I think Fnatic overall, I just feel have the momentum and have a draft they're going to be comfortable with.
I feel like the Trilane is really going to struggle. This Visage Trilane will have a very tough time against this Weaver Lich.
Yeah.
Weaver Lich
for
Rubik.
sure.
Yeah, okay. Fnatic got this, I think.
Well,
Sadly.
I feel like that's kind of the sentiment on the desk, that they do have the strength based off what they got out of this draft, but how does EHOME actually come out and win?
Faith beyond his Darkseer. He's had a Darkseer game early in the group stage where he just obliterated the entire game. He's got a 1v1 matchup where we feel Darkseer should have an edge. You play behind the tower, you farm the jungle, you just outfarm your opponent, and then get all these early game teamfight or items. He can have a huge impact here.
So Fevbian versus World. Because the Trilane, in theory, should not win.
All right, so a lot of pressure on the Darkseer here, and one of the ways that we were able to figure it out is with the analytics provided to us by SAP. They are going to be helping us out throughout the entirety of this event, but we got to be looking right now at the Darkseer. Are we going to be able to see that be enough? Either way, it gets resolved here. We're going to jump into the game 3.
Thank you, Farva from Super Troopers. We are here in the final game of the day. It's EHOME facing off against Fnatic. It all comes down to this.
It does, and can they do it this time with Drow Visage? I've seen the Drows a couple of times, and I actually saw one of the games win in like less than 20 minutes with the Drow, but Drow Visage is different. Like the panel was mentioning, it's not this bonus damage, it's attack speed bonus, and Visage, the familiars already attack quite fast, and no one else really benefits it. So it is a good. The thing about Drow is that the Gust is very good versus Weaver in majority of instances in the game. So we'll see if that's going to be able to work out. And I also do like I think the Air Spirit was actually pretty crucial in the last game. It made the movement for DJ just so much easier and more natural. This time around as a Rubik, he has the good like damage reduction that can come in from Fade Bolt, and he has like his lift, which is good, but his spell steal this game is extremely limited. He's got like Soul Assumption, familiars are very hard to steal.
Right.
And then I would say like the Oracle spells are the best ones. The other ones are just
Gus can be okay. It's like it's sort of
okay.
dependent, and sometimes it's hard to find that one too.
But it's not like your comparison like of Ravage, a Black Hole, a Fissure, a Sand King Stone, like something like that, right?
Yeah,
you look at Earth Spirit, you don't steal spells really from Earth Spirit at all. You're gonna be stealing from Oracle, maybe Vacuum. Like Vacuum is one could be really cool. Vacuum and Wall maybe, but yeah, a bit limited for him.
We did see kind of a cool little interaction there. Again, the sort of mind games coming together as the Drow Ranger was sitting in the mid lane, waited for the smoke to wear off, and then looked like she placed a ward, and then immediately afterwards Abed tipped like he knew where the ward was. So, kind of an interesting little dynamic there. We'll see if they decide to place the sentry. Looks like they haven't.
Look at this. They're actually just killing the whole wave before it even gets to the tower with the double Ion Shell. They even skilled the Boulder Smash on the Earth Spirit to do so, and now they're going to block the camps too. Oh, man. All right, Weaver's going to farm into the tower.
This is the new hotness right here. I like this a lot.
That's cool. I saw what Faith Beyond was able to do on Darkseer the other day versus Ramsey's Juggernaut, right?
Yeah. That's true. Against the Weaver, we'll see if he can have similar results.
Yeah,
and then immediately, he rotates bottom and able to find a kill on Ice 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 with Boulder Smash taking level 1. Faith Beyond cuts the creep waves. All right,
nice.
EHOME.
I mean, Boulder Smash level 1 is fine to get, actually, in a lot of situations. Like, a lot of the times, it's majorly seen as rolling Boulder, but Boulder Smash it's a great ability now. Like, it does a lot more damage in comparison. Level 1, of course, the same damage, but that slow duration it's pretty decent to chase. And he's got Orb of Venom, so they had the additional.
In the meantime, DJ's just going to try and deal with Faith Beyond, who is going to keep cutting the creep wave through, and Weaver, in the meantime, is going to have to burn through some of his regen to stay in that lane as Innocence gets punched by jabs, chase forward, Frost Shield. There's a lot of damage. He does have still, if he wants to maybe turn here, since just going to get pummeled down. And Ice also going to die. Oh, good salve up, though, and that might keep him alive long enough. They go for the root, and now chasing forward for more. The longest chase in the world, but eventually Lich going to have your life, I think.
Oh my god, how many mangoes did Jabs have to use for this?
Punch. Got him.
Did he use 3 mangoes for that?
He might have.
I think he used 3 mangoes for that chase. Maybe. Oh, damn. Got him. But bottom is definitely a big problem. I mean, Earth Spirit in the last game caused havoc, and again already now, Tidehunter dies twice. In this game too, unlike last game, they didn't have anything to actually get rid of this Frost Shield. Now they've got Oracle. They've got Fortune's Ends to dispel.
We did see the Tidehunter have to walk back to lane.
Yep.
Because he died twice there. Never what you want to have happen.
Still level 1. Still level 3 on the Visage now. Saving skill points too in case whatever he decides he needs.
Yeah.
And Faith Beyond, like you mentioned, he was cutting the creep wave and pulling it behind his tower and denying creeps as well. Wasn't actually using the Ion Shell on himself. He was focusing, denying farm from that Weaver as much as possible.
Yeah, and already has the Ring of Health. Fine and dandy there. Has 2 Stout Shields in his inventory, so if he needs to, he can go back to cutting creep waves, but might decide to stay in that lane now that he has level 3. As the Drow going to take a little bit of a beating there. Yeah, Faith Beyond just comes back in here.
He's just going to push the wave in. He's going to try to make them lose as much as possible if they want to try to pressure him. So they actually can't go for the pressuring because, yeah, they'll miss way too many creeps. And he's going to go try to catch the second creep with the Surge, and he should be able to. Yep. As bottom, Ice again.
Again in trouble. Moving in, the punch, the Soul Assumption, another kill as that Tidehunter is going to fall.
That's pretty much a Dominator finished on Visage, and he's like level 3.
Oh my god.
That's really early.
This is going to be in time for that 5-minute catapult, too.
It is. Yep. He's going to have it very early on to either grab the neutral or to grab that catapult that comes in.
And who really stops that pressure? If he really wants to sort of keep that on, if you move in and like TP heroes, then Faith Beyond's going to keep the top lane pushed out. It's going to be really hard to stop that push.
Yeah, they're going to need like the Lich plus the Weaver, the Lich with the Frost Shield on top of that Weaver with the Bug getting on top. But yeah, definitely going to be a problem. I mean, it's so early. Dominator finished. It's 3:59 or 3:58 or 3:57 when he picked it up. Extremely early. One of the earliest I've ever seen. 3 kills, 20 last hits on this Visage.
And if he wants to, he doesn't even necessarily have to go for the catapult.
Yeah, he took a Wildkin.
Okay, yeah. So more armor for all of his creeps.
Yep, more armor, and even the tornado is frustrating to deal with as whenever you're laning versus as a Tidehunter, or anybody, really. A much better start for EHOME this time around, and the Drow as well, having a great farming time versus the Dusa. Can't get harassed as much. Like last time, it was an anti-mage versus double range, just getting poked every single time. Drow Ranger has incredibly long attack range and can sit in the back.
Abed going to be rooted there, down to about half HP, as Innocence is going to get ran at. They have the Frost Shield forward, having already used the root. They can't dispel it. Now the roll forward misses on Abed. They're going to try and go for the kickback. It's really tough to find that angle, and so instead, Earth Spirit lifted under the tower. They'll find the kill onto Jabs. That actually keeps the Drow alive. And now see if they can find this kill onto Abed. He has another roll in a second and tries to go for it. Misses. Oh, just barely off the mark. Great play from Abed.
The little sidestep actually working. Now has a salve 2 to heal up. ASD also, while being attacked by the Lich, mid-air pops the Fairy Fire and is able to survive. So both mid players, some cute little outplays.
And a haster in here for the Lich.
Get some nice wards down.
Yeah.
Maybe put one around behind mid so they can watch when the Earth Spirit does come in. Yeah, just watch whenever Earth Spirit's on the tower. Since those trees are cut down too, it actually gives a good angle of the tower vision.
Well, Faith Beyond pops Mango. Turns on to DJ yet again. I mean, as much as this has been pretty good for Faith Beyond, Weaver's still been able to farm and get basically top CS at this point. As mid lane again, they're punching into Abed. ASD, seeing what he can do, needs a couple more hits. The roll, can't dodge that one. And they find the kill onto Abed. And this is the strength of Earth Spirit too. I mean, he takes so much damage and lives underneath all those tower shots.
The wand charges. Just enough. And even him just, you see how he prioritized going for stats. Like, everything actually mattered there for the Earth Spirit. He has a branch on top of a magic wand. He has a gauntlet and a circlet. That actually was just enough to make him survive under that tower dive. Super tanky hero.
DJ going to use that lift and immediate TP out by Faith Beyond. He's going to head back to the base.
But yeah, like you mentioned, MP having free farm. It's a Weaver versus a Darkseer. Like these ranged heroes usually have a good time versus Darkseer.
Yeah.
So he'll at least be like the biggest, I guess, saving grace for Fnatic. Not like they're like super far behind or anything, but the bottom lane is a pretty big problem. This Visage level 6 Dominator Bassi versus a level 5 Tide with pretty little farm. As they're glyphing the wave and putting the pressure on.
Keep that Wild King Ripper alive and rolling forward here in a second, possibly by this Earth Spirit, staving the stun. They punch the DD rune, every dang thing. He will have that frost armor on him now, which makes him a little bit more tanky. And well, actually, DJ roaming into this one as well. They don't quite have level 6 yet on Ice Ice Ice. They'd love to be able to ravage this one, but looks like instead they are going to be able to find the kill on the tower and possibly a kill onto DJ here. Down Ming moves forward, gives him the punch.
DD rune. And this Earth Spirit, he just walks under the tower. I mean, people have said it time and time again. I mean, 3.8 strength gain. This hero is incredibly tanky. And he's setting up again for Ice Ice Ice.
He's going to die again here. Soul Assumption, punch, done.
And this Earth Spirit putting in a crazy amount of work.
I mean, this is really what we've been seeing more and more of, is these offlaners just get sacrificed so hard.
Yeah.
0-4. But the flip side of that is that Faith Beyond's having an amazing time on this Darkseer.
Yeah, he's got Arcane Boots and he's doing exactly what he does. Going for that Vanguard next. Might even do, I don't know if he'll go for the full Crimson Guard, maybe, perhaps. We'll see. It's just, you're going to see him go for the standard Darkseer items. Yeah, Crimson, Pipe. And now they can do the beauty of the Drow Rangers, where you just go to the jungle and you farm. You're the fastest jungler in the game. If you just constantly do Ancients with your marksmanship, being able to one-shot those, you just give your supports the lane. And Dusa at this point is not quite there, ready to jungle at that same pace.
Yeah.
Soon though. 2 points in the split shot now is there though.
We have seen Faith Beyond move into the jungle and sort of either steal farm or mess around with the Medusa's ability to farm by just dropping a wall on her.
I mean, that one game versus VP, he solo killed like the Juggernaut, then he ran in and solo killed the Dusa in the jungle too. But this one, he's not that out of control. He's still pretty damn farmed though. He's cutting the waves. He's got Vanguard.
He's about to have Vanguarded.
I mean, he's
9
walking
minutes.
in, and he's got a ward, so he knows where the Deuce is farming. So
yeah,
and he's just cutting the next wave. He's just continuing this farm.
This is his area.
Look at that heat map. For dark people who want to learn to play Darkseer, is definitely a good man to watch, especially like this. He just gets so much farm. I mean, this one, there's not much disable that he has to really worry about.
Right.
Like if he does play like this aggressive, but yeah, he's been doing really well on it.
Ego going to send the Visage over there. Abed is going to retreat back, see if he can get some farm on. That is a pretty large stack, and if they ever win a fight, EHOME, on that side of the map, you can bet the Drow's going to try and steal away as much of it as possible.
Yeah, I think if they can take this Tier 1 tower out, then they can look for the invasion plays, and I think that probably is their next goal. But ASD does not want to leave the jungle. As I was saying, Drow Rangers, I was calling it like, it's when I was watching, it was when OG was playing and when Topson was playing and he did like the blink and stuff.
Right.
This hero does 1 level per minute if you're doing it right with around the Ancients every single time. Maybe not at 25 minutes, 25, but like 16 minutes, you're like level 15, level 16.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But sort of what you can expect from the hero, and of course what Fnatic know is building in the enemy jungle and what they need to be prepared for, and they're just hoping that Abed can get to a point where you can deal with it before she comes online. It is that full Vanguard done for the Darkseer. Ice 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 has Ravage available for him now and getting towards the Vlads.
They're starting to do this Ancient stack. I think they want to get it as soon as possible before EHOME does have potential to invade. They're even bringing MP with the bugs to try to increase it. Now even bringing in Ice 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 to make sure they can guarantee it.
This is big.
Team Ancients.
I mean, you have to do it. If you lose these Ancients to Drow at any point, your game is just over, it feels like.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would be so detrimental to their whole game plan.
I don't know about you, but I'd Ravage for that Helm of the Dominator creep.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Ice Ice is just trying to hold on to this Tier 1 tower in the mid lane, do whatever he can with the Anchor Smash. He does reduce that damage.
He's just beating on the familiar standard. They don't have they don't we don't want you. We want the tower so we can invade. Get out of our way.
He's just a big fish. He knows his place in the world.
So level 12 finished up on ASD, and it looks like he's going to be going for the Shadow Blade. So he's going to be a hunter. And Shadowblade in this game, he can build into the Silver Edge to deal with the Tidehunters, Kraken, and also just get in position to go for the Gusts onto the Weaver. So he can be a ganker, and he's very farmed.
Good stun. Pull back in. Doesn't connect with the pull, as he did instead just go for the smash. And yeah, 4,000 net worth lead for EHOME, mostly off the back of these cores.
Yeah.
And really, it's just that Tidehunter is that far behind.
Yep. And they're able to do these invasions now, right? Like I was talking about. This mid tower, as soon as they take it out, you see the path that they take. They just walked through Fnatic's jungle. They're like, okay, they cleared the ancient stack, but now we can make sure that we get the next tier 1, and they can keep putting on this pressure. Fnatic is not at the most ready to fight right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a 12-minute Crimson Guard, it looks like.
Yeah. Last time it was 9 minutes and 25 seconds. But
if they take the tower, I should say. Needs to get close to that buckler. And tier 2 tower being assaulted.
well,
he's got
he's got the Crimson coming out in the courier. Yeah, the full thing.
You see some movement in here. Faith Beyond. MP is there as well. The lift from DJ. Ice has the Ravage, going to connect
Stolen
on
Familiars.
both heroes. Stolen Familiars, okay. It's not going to be able to keep him alive, though. Faith Beyond needs to run here, it looks like. They are finally going to have the Crimson Guard. He's very taking all of the creeps. He takes down Jabs. Did he actually do anything else here? He's just going to walk away.
No, he's gone.
Faith
oh my god.
He kills Lich.
The Crimson Guard delivery pops the guard. MP's trying to go for the chase down. There's another surge. He's got the Shrine available to Faith Beyond. We'll be just fine as they're invading on the other side too.
Oh, dear Lord. Medusa in a hell of a lot of trouble, and Abed is going to just fall, it looks like. MP. Like they want to find it, but that's just going to be the false promise, and Innocence is going to live. They roll forward, find the stun, is going to be able to have the secondary silence. The Gust is there, and 1 by 1, EHOME dominate Fnatic.
And a full Shadowblade and level 14 on the Drow Ranger now. I mean, they brought, what, 4 heroes up top. They get the Visage, which is great. They get even the Steel. They get the Familiars, and then Faith Beyond just like, Crimson Guard.
Yeah.
And at the same time, EHOME's making a move, and they get the better out of it.
You know what part of it is, too, is just how much more damage Wall does early on now.
Yeah.
This ability has seen so many buffs. Up to 70 damage at level 1. 70% rather.
Yeah.
And they're stuck in it.
And they're, you know, Crimson Guarded. So, yeah, problematic. That was very nice moves for EHOME. There is now we have top 3. I mean, they've had the top 3 net worths, but it's looking even more solid as... Yeah, this Drow Ranger is keeping that level per minute, as I was talking about right now. Shadowblade finished, Dragonlance, he's got some Ancient Stacks too to work on. We'll keep progressing.
It's a pretty nice steal there, the Ion Shell. Can maybe throw that on a Weaver or Tide, was most likely the best one.
Yeah, he doesn't have actually any points in the Arcane Supremacy just yet. So, actually going for 2 points in the lift. I guess because he's the only real disable on the team, besides like Sinister Gaze and a Ravage.
And it looks like he might be dead here in a second. The surged Drow Ranger. Just give him the 1 punch and then a couple of gusts, and yep, done and dusted.
Yeah, ASD.
This guy has looked like a superstar.
Yeah, he's been very good. His anti-mage last game maybe left a bit of a sour taste in his mouth, and he's like, "Yo, give me Drow, I got this." And he's doing great.
It does really feel like that last game was almost an aberration, and like EHOME has been the real just big winners in this series, almost on another level it feels like. But
I mean, last time they just got so smashed though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have the answer for the Timber Saw.
Oof, but this one is one where they might want to just end the game before the Deuce is actually a problem. And I mean, with the Aegis and with all these levels, and they've got Drow Visage, which of course it's not the same Drow Visage, but they still got a Drow strat. And I saw a Drow game the other day win in 18 minutes.
Nice little placement of the ward up there by the Earth Spirit. It's going to get their sights set on this Tier 2 tower after they take down the Tier 2 tower in the top lane.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite wards in the game. You have to cut the trees, and Earth Spirit, you know, Rolling Boulder already does that for you.
Yeah, very good vision. And just like that, I mean, you can't come and defend these towers at this point in the game as Fnatic. You will have Ravage available, although Ice is down in the bottom lane. Medusa's still trying to get towards those first real items.
Yeah, they just don't have anything to rally around a full team fight. Like when we saw top, it was them in a 4 versus 2, and that's why it was successful for them. But if it's all of EHOME kind of setting up, they are very strong around this Crimson Guard, and pretty much a full mech as well on Faith Beyond. Bottom, Ice.
Oh, roll in. able to escape.
No stun. The rolling boulder missed initially, and boulder smash is not stun anymore.
All right. Well, they did take both the tier 2 tower top and mid, so
Yeah.
I'm sure EHOME's still feeling very comfortable. And look at that, just you take off once you hit that level 6.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, zip, so 16 minutes, level 16. This is where it starts to slow down a little bit because you're making more aggressive plays rather than just sitting on Ancients and farming.
Right.
But now full mech, full Crimson Guard. I mean, EHOME is definitely ready to look for taking fights.
And Ice, the one that they're going to look after first, slowing down Abed and now pummeling into another. They're going to be able to find the silence onto 2. That's on the Medusa, so no Stone Gaze to follow this one up, but they are going to get the Vacuum Wall back onto 4. Not bad at all. ASD looking like he might die here, though, as Rubik was able to steal the wall, actually Vacuum, excuse me. Try and turn this around. ASD, can they kill it off in time? A good magnetize. It's on to 3. ASD has the false promise and is living through this one, at least for the moment, but needs to back away now. And with the Shadow Blade, the right clicks, it's finally enough, and they have overextended. Fnatic punish.
That was, I mean, they want to take a fight, but that one right there is in a pretty tough spot with, I mean, the Deuce just held her ground the whole time. They weren't able to focus fire her at all.
She still a Medusa at the end of the day, and even if she doesn't get off that Stone Gaze in the first initial salvo,
yeah,
just burn through it.
They lost their Visage incredibly fast, too, who is a pretty significant force of their damage right now. Visage was the first one to go down, got hit by absolutely everything. Chain Frost, nukes, etc. I mean, even though MP died, he bought back in time-lapse right back into. And they were very, they knew that they wanted to save the Drow Ranger, or try to save the Drow, because he could have false promised the Visage. He actually just walked up and threw a Fate's Edict rather than trying to save him. So prioritizing trying to save that Drow. And Fnatic get themselves some much-needed breathing room. Huge chunk down.
Yeah, it's a Manta done now for the Medusa. She's got a Dragon Lance coming on out. Look at that swing. Fnatic pulling it back here.
Yeah, they got to watch out when it's just the Tidehunter in the front lines. Yeah. Until they have Silver Edge, which is maybe coming out eventually, but he's going for the Manta first.
Oh, and they see the Weavers there, able to get this. Oh, Sakuchi away.
Ooh. That was close.
Yeah, that happened a second earlier, and it's all over. We have been seeing more and more of these Manta Deuces. Obviously, there's a lot of things you need to be able to Manta off in this game. Silences, the root from Oracle.
A lot of slows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grave
Chill is one of the bigger ones. Yeah. So the other thing, too, is that EHOME, in the way that they have to take these fights, is they need the Earth Spirit, and it's positioning, right? Like, the Earth Spirit and the Darkseer want to be in the front, and the Drow Ranger and the Visage want to be kind of in the back. And that's where also the Rubik getting Vacuum can come into play, too, because once they get right in the front lines, you lose your marksmanship ability, too, as a Drow Ranger, so a lot of your damage is gone, and, yeah, you need to be able to sit in the back and throw your spells.
I mean, that is one of the concerns for Drow Ranger at this stage of the game, right? Is that she's really easy. It's really easy to pick off like squishy supports or maybe even the Weaver, but Adusa or the Tidehunter feel like they're sort of going to be able to survive through it unless she gets a lot of procs.
Yeah.
Smoke up as 4 up on the high ground, and eerily similar to what we saw before. They are a little bit in position here. Faith Beyond up front and center. They're going to send in the Visage Familiars. Realize, all right, yeah, there's some people there.
He surged the Familiar. That was funny. Just to check it out and see if they can get the Bounty Rune. But yeah, smokes on Bounty Runes is something we see a lot more often. EHOME was kind of waiting for somebody. And are they going to find? They are.
Oh, they got the chase and going to find that kill. And the quick tip.
Melts.
Now, they did drop the wall there as well.
And they get the Familiars too.
Yeah, easy little pickup. So again, Fnatic making it happen, and 6 Familiars killed, 600 gold in their coffers. Not bad at all.
Yeah, Dusa's getting that room that she really needed, Abed. Like you said, Manta finished, Dragonlance too, and Butterfly's queued up now too. MP a bit behind because of having to buy back in that fight and time-lapse. I don't even know if he needed to, but he did, and it helped them secure it. But
oh, I like this pickup of the Blade Mail on the Earth Spirit. Like, that's his job, as you're saying, just jump in the middle of everybody. If they're going to start to attack you, you can maybe get out and get a second round of spells out if you pop that Blade Mail.
It's a very nice item. I think usually, of course, it's like the urn and stuff like that on the Earth Spirit, but he's got an Oracle, you know.
Right.
You don't want to steal your Oracle's urn.
So 21 minutes in, Aegis is going to, or rather Roche should be responding and possibly 2 minutes. Depends on the time.
Pretty significant, though, that it was like the Fnatic in the last fight 2 versus like Aegis. I mean, his positioning was fantastic for them, but they didn't have their mech or anything either. While on the opposing side, EHOME, they had mech, they had Crimson Guard. Now it's a mech picked up on the Tidehunter, so tank ability much higher.
Yeah, and I think that Medusa's going to start to deal in some real damage here in a second. Almost has that first component of the butterfly. Dangerous stuff. Obviously, the Wall of Replica is going to be pretty impactful if you can find Abed with it later on.
Looks like it is going to be the Silver Edge. It's actually finished already on ASD. As we expect, he was going to build the Silver Edge eventually after that Shadow Blade, but now is when they can actually look to focus that Tide and kill him before he can try to go for that Ravage with that break. A DD bottom.
Oh.
Inside the bottle, so they can save it for the fight.
Is he going to sell the Wraith Band here? Buys the Eagle Song. Medusa is going to hit very hard in this one, and Faith Beyond going to be wrapped around upon. MP is there. DJ in the area as well, and Steel, Surge, run. Does he get out?
He's going to try to make space, but yeah, Bug is on him. He throws down the wall. He's just trying to make some time, make up as much time as he can.
Yeah, can vacuum back into him maybe afterwards, but he does end up going down.
Yep.
It feels kind of weird, though. Like, this is eventually going to be Fnatic's game, I feel like, when you've got this Medusa and, Tidehunter late game, Fresher Shard potentially later. It seems like it could be tough for EHOME as it becomes later and later.
Yeah, it's just like how much can this Visage Drought do is really the big thing. This Visage, I've seen how much damage this hero can do in a lot of times, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And if they itemize too, it's like the best item in the game is, yeah, he just queued up, okay. He was going for the AC versus the Dusa, but Halberd is like the absolute best. You just throw it on Dusa, and she just stands there. 5 seconds.
So that 5,000 gold lead might end up paying dividends.
Yeah. Like if it was even ground, then it would be really nice. It would be like, damn, very good game for Fnatic. But it's because they have that slight advantage for EHOME in gold that maybe it's the thing to make the difference versus this Dusa. Just maybe.
Yep. Fnatic again. Just walk forward. Ice, Ice, Ice always in the lead. Knows that he can't get bursted too quickly. They do have pretty good control over this side of the map. And in the meantime, EHOME just sort of spreading out, farming, waiting for that next Rosh, which is going to be relatively short. Only 10 seconds left until it's back up.
Yeah. Don't know if they probably have to assume that this Drow has Silver Edge now too. So that's the one thing. They really got to be careful of that break.
Yeah.
All got to be rallied around Ice 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 to help him out in case he does get gone on by this Drow. And now they do see it. I mean, bottom, it's for sure. As the split push commences for Drow.
So this was a really quick Rosh respawn, and they spot it, though, with that creep, and 200 gold going into the coffers of Fnatic. Bottom lane, their pressure is going on. They've already taken Tier 2 tower. That's dangerous. That's really scary.
A lot of mana from Abed.
Needs to get the heck out of there.
He is down to 200. They passed him the bottle again to make sure that he can heal up. They've also got Arcane Boots, too, for him.
And while this is happening, you're getting some split push out there as well.
Yeah.
So EHOME, make sure that Rosh is not going to be taken lightly. And they will go for the Shrine up here potentially afterwards. But it's not exactly easy for EHOME to go just right into the pit either.
I mean, they can kill pretty fast with the Glad, Solo Crest, and the Drow, but it's just the fear.
Yeah.
Got to be very careful around that area versus Stone Gaze and Ravage.
No blink as of yet for the Tidehunter. Still just going for those big tanky items, the Guardian Greaves. Medusa has enough for Butterfly right now if she wants to go for it, but would leave her with no buyback.
Yeah, with Greaves, he'll be able to at least remove the silences. That's the big thing, right? Even if he does get broken, pops Greaves, remove the silence, then he's going to be able to try to go for that Ravage.
They should know about this. Rolling away, wanting to escape, and Fnatic can't find whole side of EHOME as they are up to the north. So that smoke will miss, but they can put pressure on the mid lane here and take the Tier 2 maybe.
Yeah, and they've finished the Butterfly too, and Abed getting close to level 20. That, of course, 700 mana talent that we love.
On the other side, the Drow took the Gust Silence duration. Oh, Weaver. He's going in alone right now. He's going to run into the Darkseer here, it looks like.
Has BKB, so
yeah,
should feel pretty safe at not dying. He only dies if he gets
a Tier 3 tower, though.
stun locked.
Top lane, Ego just takes it.
Okay. Nice.
Very well played. MP, seeing if they can maybe find a punish. They do have that break, like you talked about. The silence afterwards doesn't have a way to crack and show this one off. No Greaves, no nothing, no Ravage. They pull back in Abed. He's going to be stunned for absolutely ever. They're able to find the kill with one last proc there from the marksmanship. And huge win for EHOME.
He just bought a butterfly. He doesn't have buyback. That's a Rax.
That might be more potentially. They get it right there. Okay.
Okay, he just got it. I was like, oh my god, he had just got enough gold for it. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, with the buyback now,
scary.
they're still able to survive through that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to show how strong it was. You just talked about it. The break into silence, and they take down the tide.
He got like 150, 200 gold from Guardian Greaves, right?
Yeah.
He was so close to having it to be able to remove that gust. He desperately needs it. They've got stolen familiar, so DJ, he is sending them to scout this Roche, but Roche is dying very quickly.
Now, Bugs, it's going to go out as well. They realize what's happening, moving into all of them. It's a pretty good route. They get hot by the slow as well and able to get the Aegis onto ASD. Silence there, onto the Lich, and now the walk away. They got what they came for. They're going to be happy backing out for now at least. Although, well, Fnatic wants some more. DJ throwing down those stones. They're able to catch them, and well, just like that, they're able to pick up at least one kill. So double for MP.
Yeah, at least they get something out of it. They needed to get a little bit. They got, as soon as you see Innocence, the Oracle dies, EHOME does not want to even try to take a fight. Just wanted to be a little bit careful. They've only... they didn't really have like their ultis either. Like Wall was still on cooldown too, so...
I mean, we're seeing just how good that Wall of Replica is from the Darkseer.
It's so strong versus Medusa, too. It's not even just like it kills Medusa. The teammates, anyone who walks near that wall.
Yeah.
Gotta be extremely careful. And she's just gonna continue getting stronger, which means that Darkseer Wall is just continuing to get even stronger.
Hasn't quite gotten that level 20 talent yet for Abed.
Yeah. You know what I've been wanting to see for quite a while, even though like Darkseer's been kind of dead. It's like when you see these super hyper carries, if you can ever get an Aghanims.
Oh yeah.
It's actually ridiculous how much damage you can do. And then at 25, if you're able to get that like parallel wall, I mean, but that's way later.
It's the dream.
It's the dream pretty much, but I don't think he's gonna actually have the chance to go for them because these items are just better across the board. Crimson, Pipe, Mech, Greaves, etc.
Earth Spirit has his Ghost Scepter now as well. So can survive in the fights. Later on, maybe going to upgrade that to an E-Blade. We've seen that occasionally.
Yeah, they're just... EHOME right now is just looking for a fight because Fnatic, they just used buyback on Dusa. If they catch Dusa, game's over.
They did also buyback on that Tidehunter.
Yeah.
He can't be outside now.
She's still not 20.
Yeah, this
Look
is...
at Abed's experience right now. He's just right there. They're trying to get it. Just clearing up the camps. We'll get now. Okay, so 700 mana.
Take it. There it is.
Oh, actually, this is, I'm glad I actually bring this up. There's a fun fact about this other one. If you actually take the Stone Gaze duration, it can proc Stone Gaze twice on people.
I like that.
Most people, I saw somebody do it in one of my pubs, and I had no clue that Stone Gaze could actually work twice on people. But yeah, you can get Stone Gaze twice during it.
I mean, 700 mana is still really
700 mana is
good.
way better, but maybe if you're playing versus AM, right? Like
okay,
maybe in some situations.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a little fun fact, I guess. As EHOME will control the map, continue to farm. They're getting close to those level 25s, close to BKB on Drow Ranger too, which will help a lot versus that Tide.
Oh, yeah. And in the meantime, for Fnatic, they're kind of just left with the same thing. Wait for those buybacks to come off cooldown.
Yeah.
Get your next set of items by slowly farming whatever trickles into your base.
It's too scary for them to walk out and make a risky play when they don't have those BBs, so EHOME knows that they can play this suffocation game and just get their farm even higher.
Particularly with ASD not showing on map that much.
Yeah.
Oh, he's chasing MP. He wants this one.
He knows. They've got the wards too, so.
Yeah.
They're going to set up. You see the Air Spirit's
Oh
already TPing top. There is the BKB, though, on MP.
Yeah, it's such a hard kill to find. They might be able to do it, though. Roll in here in a second. At least if you force out the BKB, it could be good. Chase, Dust, already there. Silence, slow. Can't quite get him. There's the stun. Trying to kill. BKB comes out. He's going to time-lapse, run away. They do have some vision there. The roll forward and chase, but looks like MP should escape.
He TP'd to the shrine. ASD's like, I want him. But they won't find him.
They had the angle on the Earth Spirit, but couldn't get it.
It's just such a hard kill, right? Whenever he has BKB,
yeah,
it's gonna be really tough until they have an item to go for it. Maybe someone wants to go for something like a Hex. Maybe Drow could even.
Yeah, could be good.
Could. Because the the CDR talent, of course, but I don't think they need it. It's that's like, oh, we're doing that to catch them, but that's not them winning the game. It's like, oh, we're getting kills, but the winning the game build is just going for your right-click build. Get your butterfly, get your AC on your Visage.
Make sure lanes are pushed out.
Yep.
It's a Blink Dagger on Tide. I mean, it is, again, like EHOME are that one item ahead of all of the Fnatic heroes across the board, but the items that Fnatic are getting do allow them to fight better.
Definitely.
They provide a lot more utility.
As long as Ice can't really play as like this frontliner, though. He kind of has to sit in the back and wait for an opportunity to ravage because he doesn't have a way to remove the silences. He can crack and if he's not silver edged, but he's going to be silver edged and then he's going to get silenced in the majority of the situations.
Oh my God. Drow ran around at 742 movement speed with the surge.
Yep.
That's silly. Yeah, but it is the hunting Drow with Faith Beyond.
What's our time looking like? We got 2 minutes left on those buybacks for Fnatic, as I believe that was like what, Aegis? That was Aegis getting reclaimed, right?
That was Aegis being reclaimed.
Yeah. And they're just continuing to play a bit of that farm game, like we were saying. They're picking up these big items. They know they've got this net worth lead, and they're feeling very comfortable if this Dusa is not able to get any farm whatsoever.
Yeah. Keep her constrained in the base.
Yeah, and Weaver's not farming either. And yeah, MP's level 19. Visage is level 22, Drow almost 24. They are scaling way harder on the side of EHOME in comparison.
You can see it's just been that little bit behind what you see in averages by the Medusa. It's still sort of keeping up there, you know? It's just those other heroes that surround the Medusa that haven't been able to get as much of the farm that you would want.
Yeah, they just got no space on the map to farm. Just can't step out. Now they're starting to make their move, trying to get some wards out. They've already got that one that's been on the high ground for a bit. But they have to play like this. They have to play in this. I mean, this one's not a 4 protect 1 entirely because they have the Weaver farming, but it's getting to the point because of the farm numbers.
Yeah.
Where it's just the Dusa really getting anything.
I was wondering if it might have even been worth it to go for just straight Rapier on Dusa instead of the Scotty. Like, it doesn't give the bonus damage for Wall of Replica.
That's true.
Like,
he just wants to be, I guess, a little bit tankier and stuff like that. But
yeah, that's true.
We'll see. I think they're going to have to go for an Aghanim soon on the Weaver, though. I think that's probably one of the good plays. Because even if the Dusa gets, like, focus fired, like, at least you can just reset fully if he's in a good position. So I'm okay if he finishes the Mjolnir first, but I think he wants that Aghanim right afterwards.
Definitely.
Maybe, I mean, he might even just finish it because, I don't know, maybe he can't even do the damage to get into the midst of the fray versus this Familiar, or versus this Visage and all the power that EHOME has right now.
Yeah. Steel and Grave Chill there.
Yep.
Not the greatest thing in the world. Kind of cool against the Drow.
Yeah. It looks like EHOME, they're just waiting. Just keep them trapped in their base, wait for next Roche. They feel pretty confident taking the fights. Cause, I mean, probably just also because they have a Wall Replica that's amazing.
Maybe trying to catch them out. This is a bold move. MP.
Oh my God.
And now the vacuum wall with the stuns coming down. The Ravage, though, to try and interrupt. And Abed walks in the middle of all of them. The Stone Gaze is working and might actually be able to make this fully go in, but the roll in now. A little bit off the mark coming from Chongqing, and Ice down very low. The Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. They've already lost 2. A buyback comes from the Lich, but unfortunately that is going to be also the Weaver going down, finding the kickback onto the Medusa to keep Abed closer and closer. They do use that Sinister Gaze to pull ASD closer, but he is just going to be able to tear them apart. Ultra kill for ASD, and this man who has done everything gets his Rampage stolen by Ego, but he eventually picks it up.
And then he dies to the Wall Replicate Illusion. What an ending for ASD there. Oh my God, this, like, he had great positioning on this Drow Ranger. They got, like you said, a beautiful vacuum wall combo, but Tianming in the backlines, he controlled Medusa the entire fight.
Yeah.
He literally just would roll in on top of her, then she starts focus firing him, pops Blade Mail. So Abed's like, oh, maybe not. Then it starts focusing him again, pops Ghost Scepter. And he kept her stunned the entire duration of that fight.
Oh my God, and this hits so hard right now. ASD hitting this tier 4 towers. The Rampage to top it all off, and, well, this is going to be a very hard hold for Fnatic at this last time. The disarm is there. They have a Glyph doing what they possibly can to see if they can stay in this game, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. There's going to be the Mantis trying to stay alive a little bit longer. They've broken the Medusa. They're going to beat into Abed. Can they quite find that kill? Honestly, it looks like it's going to be surge away DJ trying to save a life. That actually is going to be able to keep him alive a little bit longer, and Well, also the Stone Gaze. Lich is going to come back alive in a second. He's going to have this Frost Shield to try and keep these buildings alive. I don't know if it's going to quite be enough. There's going to be the False Promise still trying desperately to hang on. Fnatic want to stay in this upper bracket. They're going to have this Tidehunter back alive again in a second. All of the auras are there. The mech pops up as well, trying to keep everybody alive. He's breaking that marksmanship. Abed still trying desperately to live. He's on top of this Drow. Can they keep Abed alive? He's doing everything they possibly can. The damage mitigation coming out from the Anchor Smash, but it's not quite there. Magnetize on absolutely everybody. Abed, are you really doing this right now? And everybody's staying alive from Fnatic. EHOME went too far. They only get a Rax for that.
Oh my god. He kept getting the Anchor Smash on everybody. So with that damage reduction, it just applies completely to all over the place. And then Drow is also standing on top, so your marksmanship's not proccing. And the Vlad's aura too for the Medusa. I just want to watch that again. Look at the damage done by Medusa.
That is
Like,
insane.
what was it, like 17,000?
You look at this right now as well, and it is no buyback for 90 seconds on the Drow Ranger. She bought back after she died after the Rampage. 27,000 damage dealt by this Medusa. They're walking down mid lane. EHOME need to come up with an answer to this.
They've got the wall up. That's the big thing, right? Faith Beyond can throw the wall. They've got Visage with their buyback too. Oh my god, that was crazy watching that fight. That fight was, what, 20 seconds of them just standing on top of each other, A-clicking.
Medusa does it very, very well.
Another familiar steal coming out from DJ.
DJ, I mean, and stealing the Surge to get Abed out of trouble as well. They're walking down this lane. They've already used the Glyph. I mean, if you're Fnatic, do you think about just going for tier 4s?
Looks like they're trying to. Getting disarmed constantly by Innocence.
I mean, they're going to slowly chip away at these. They still have 47 seconds and needs to walk outside of that wall right now. The Vacuum pulls him back in. The Ravage to try and interrupt. Can they do this? The Stolen Vacuum. Ruben pulls him back in. The Chain Frost trying to take down all of the Radiant team, but it looks like they are going to be able to escape for the moment. Still living. Abed up at full HP. Absolutely all of Fnatic is alive, but they might have finally gone a bit too far. They want to play it safer, it looks like, and maybe just take down these racks. He takes down the ranged racks and the melee barracks, and Fnatic are going to back out now. Somehow, they keep their hopes alive.
Nobody died. Nobody died there in that. They're looking to get this chase now.
On the high ground, they're baiting it all out. They pull him back in again. The Vacuum Drow is still not alive. All of EHOME. Can they kill them all off? A secondary Vacuum coming from Faith Beyond. Everybody is just so tanky in these fights. Jab's trying to walk away. Can they catch him out? Ego is there. They come in from the back line, though. ASD. He's being isolated, though. Can they get away? It doesn't look like Drow's going to be able to escape for the moment. And Faith Beyond, almost dead, is going to fall. He buys back immediately as well. Tidehunter does still have buyback if he wants to do it. And somehow Abed is still living through all this, but all the rest of his team is gone. And there's the Hurricane Pike. It looks like Medusa is finally going to fall. 2 minutes on the sidelines.
And now they should be able to go for that throne.
Oh my god.
And they call it, yeah. The wrap around there from ASD, TPing on the Shrine, and yeah, 3-man Gust. And like you said, I mean, everybody's just so damn tanky in this game, but EHOME able to dish out just a little bit more damage. And yeah, these vacuums actually from both sides were pretty crazy. They both, I mean, everybody had fun. Look at them, they're smiling too. Like
what was that game?
It was an entertaining game.
Man, impressive stuff. And Fnatic almost able to hold on there in the end. It did feel like there was that point where it could have turned, but they just didn't quite have that damage, didn't quite have that farm on the Medusa.
Yeah, I mean, there was some like pretty cool individual plays coming out between this game. Like Tianming on this Earth Spirit, this control that he was able to do, and the itemization as well. It was great. ASD just seems to be, this guy's an all-star, right? He's been absolutely crushing it majority of these games.
Oh, look at him. He's going to give him a kiss.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, Faith Beyond's walls in this game were crazy, right? He kept getting, like, perfect situations. And, yeah, that was really good showing. I mean, Fnatic was really close to coming back in this game. And they showed an excellent game, too, but EHOME just a little bit stronger.
Man, I got to say, that was one of the better games. Even though it ended up having a pretty substantial lead for EHOME, there were moments where it felt like it could have turned either way. And that is going to do it for our second series of the day.
That was fun.
That was really fun.
That was. I mean, when you see people just like the man fight, like the A-click on the ground attacking fights, and just like the Anchor Smash just kept mitigating it. I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
and we got a Rampage.
Hey, it happens.
There you go.
Well, we got a good one coming up in just a little bit, but we're going to head back to the panel first, see what they thought about that last series.